Well, I tell you, my Let's Go Brandon sign, my Let's Go Brandon flag wouldn't stay in place. Tried to get it up, so always a couple of people that enjoy seeing it. Who's here? Peter Benton. How the heck is it going, man? Hi, bro. Yes, it will be an interesting, fun time about cool stuff, cool and scary stuff at the same time. Here's Bruce. I love talk shows. The only thing that's missing is a 1 million people audience and a couple of things. We have some hella good fun here. I don't think anyone else is here. We got Donnie Foster here. We have Farcar Leon Trousers in the house. Hello to you. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here, you guys. Bruce. I still have some catching up to do in the videos also, you guys. Lots of news, though. Lots and lots and lots and lots of news. News, not noodles. News. I was hungry. You're lucky to be watching the sun right now. We got rain here. I love your icon, by the way, man. It took me about 2 days, I think 3 days, till I saw in the back, and I said, "What's that awesome purple screen in the back? Who's that handsome son of a bitch in the back?" I love you, man. I appreciate the awesome support on the channel, bro. I hope you and Kelly are doing well today. We have Star Hunter here, another major contributor to the channel, for leaving me comments, guys. Can't thank you enough. Greetings from the beautiful Rogue Valley. Thank you. Thanks for signing in, you guys. I appreciate that so much. Thanks for smashing the like button. Yes, it really does help. Where's Darla? She must be close. Benson Speed Shop in the house. Good morning to you guys too down there. Thank you so much. Benson's Speed Shop for all your speed shop needs. Thanks, you guys. Joe, how's it going? You will have the audience one day. So that'll be the extra cool thing will be to have an incredible audience. I mean, with what I found on the moon, I always sort of I can't say as much as saying upset. It is a little deceiving that there's not hundreds of thousands of people interested in the research. Well, there actually are, most likely, but they're not being able to reach the channel. Lots of things are changing. Did you guys hear that Elon Musk did take that deal after all for Twitter? And he's getting threats left and right. I don't know why the employees at Twitter are flipping out. We have the Chinese CCP government making threats to Elon Musk, which is hilarious. I would love to call that guy up and tell him how much of a joke they are down there in China. They look so ignorant. North Korea launching missiles over Japan. Such a stupid, childish group of people ruling this world. Infantile, childish, wild, satanic pedophiles that are running the world, that are just not knowing what to do with their money anymore. They were able to get control. Medical takes control over the governments, and basically if you don't have much of an understanding or don't like listening to the news or listening to politics, you can understand that basically they sold America and they sold Canada. They're selling France, the UK, like they're just selling them off to other people. No wonders, did you guys see in the community, when you leave here, go into the community and the before last post, go and look at the little children in kindergarten that are being screamed at by someone, an adult in a scary witch mask, screaming at the top of her lungs, telling the kids, "Are you good? You better be good." I mean, we're living in a crazy clown world. If that was my own son, I'd be in jail right now. I mean, I would have caused the biggest shit at any school. I mean, and I hope parents are standing up to this, that find out that what the hell's going on in the school, the classrooms in the USA. Something definitely wrong about that. Hey, now don't talk about my big-breasted Canadian Ontario shop working teacher, because it's just as bad. I think it's just as bad. Oh my God. We have transvestites doing striptease inside of the classrooms where kids are putting money inside of the G strings and stuff. I know most of you are going to say, what the hell kind of news does Bruce listen to? Well, that's what's being hidden. Those disgusting things that are happening around the world. Anyways, won't get into that one too much, but we're just seeing a lot of silliness, a lot of talks about the nuclear and everything, and it's getting really, really annoying. Carol West, thank you very much for being here. Karen 18, thanks you guys. Nick Bowker, thank you, my friends. Thanks for being members too, guys. I really appreciate that. Got a quickie chemtrail video just that I just put up with yesterday's sun. I did film the moon yesterday, so we're gonna get that. I'm gonna be getting that up for you all. Also, between the streams, I'll be working on that video. Happy weekend, friends. Barb, Weast, you too. Been staying away from all your channels, relaxing my freaking eye. Was cutting weeds and long grass down all week, as we do here in Canada and in cold regions. People that live where they have winters, we close down the lawns, we call them. So we just cut everything down short, and I've been doing that for the past two days. And then the eye started really acting up outside, but at least I got some of that work done. KM's in the house. 8 out of a million. Lol, good morning. Yes, good morning. Hey, Andrew, how's it going? Hey, so the plea has the police stations here in Canada now, apparently. So the PLA, apparently. Trudeau, admiration for, yeah. China's dictatorship has turned into treason and high treason. You must be listening to some of the news. If you want to really know about some news and find out what's going on in Canadian politics, check out Safe Space Cafe. Doing a shout out for you, brother, if you're listening in, because he posts absolutely everything. As a matter of fact, if you type in Safe Space Cafe right now, capital S, capital S, capital C, you'll go right to him now, probably streaming an episode in the House of Commons. So he's on trial, sort of, right? I haven't been up to date on what's going on. I've been more in the States this week, but I know Trudeau is really being called out now for what he did. Obviously, a lot of you know during the protests here in Quebec and in Ottawa, they were freezing bank accounts. They had access to people's bank accounts. Some people are still arrested, both, I guess, people from the States and people here in Canada are still in jail for some of these protests that happen. It's 100,000% legal to protest. Trudeau enforced the Emergency Act, which went against everything Canadian. It's never been enforced. And if I'm not mistaken, maybe his father would have enacted it, but I don't even think he did. It's something that you just don't use. It's like it's not like it's last case scenario. And he enforced that, used that during February, if I'm not mistaken, for at least 2 or 3 weeks, if not 4 weeks. And he was able to do a lot of damage for that. Was able to get the protesters were being shot at with plastic bullets and getting tased and whatnot. And you can see of all ages here in Quebec, and it was just truckers going around. They picked up their garbage. Nothing wrong happened. They had parents were going there during the day, letting their kids play on the lawn at Parliament. They were playing soccer, rugby, whatever you want to have them do. And then when they brought in the hot tubs, that's when things started going bad. And the government said, no, we're not going to let them get too comfortable, because the ideal was to freeze us out because it was so effing cold, minus 20, minus 30 degrees. Like, who wants to be outside protesting in your car, which you can never get maximum heat? Always a little bit of frostbite at the end of your ends and knobs or whatever. That's how it is. Both women and men outside, when it gets cold, the ends of everything starts freezing. You can only imagine during Ottawa. It really does get cold. And it's not because we live in Canada that we're used to the cold. That's a lot of bullshit. Maybe more used to the cold, but no one's used to minus 30, minus 40 degree weather. When your nostril hairs freeze up and your mustache just grows ice just from the humidity that's coming out. It's disgusting what he did, man. I hope he gets taken out. I mean, he is the scum of the earth. I can't stand Trudeau. I have to hold back talking about that guy. I have a passionate way of hating him now. It's like I passionately hate him now. Thank you so much, Ed's Emporium. another amazing contributor to the channel. Thanks, bro, for all the amazing help here and watching the videos and stopping by, and especially stopping by the streams. Thanks so much, you guys. Divine Sorcerer, hey, my good friend, how are you doing? Guys can check out his channel too. The Divine Sorcerer, it explains it all. Thanks a lot, man, for being here. I appreciate it. Amazing support, contributions, for being a member. Can't thank you enough, man. Elias, how's it going, my brother? Trolls are in the air. Can you feel the trolls in the air? I see all the trolls going to your channels and all the ones that try to attack me now, trying to become mods on all of your channels. I just see them going here and there, and I watch them moving, roaming around. Nez Lover, hey, how's it going there? Thank you so much for coming back. You guys, I really appreciate that. As Darla often thanks everyone. Sista, I really appreciate that when we see people coming back. And if you're new to the channel, if you're just arriving to the channel, I have a 14-inch telescope, some incredible moon videos, which the next video will be from the moon a day or two ago. And I'll get that up right after this, between streams or maybe after the stream. We have a good stream. We have lots to talk about. We never stick on one subject. It could be many subjects. Evelyn, how's it going? Evelyn Saba. Hello, wonderful Bruce. Love from New Zealand. Love you, you guys in New Zealand. Hey, Evelyn, there's a launch in Malaysian shores in New Zealand. In New Zealand, there is a launch that is, if I'm not mistaken, 9 minutes ago. I think at 1:07 or 1:09 Eastern time, there was a launch in New Zealand, which is, I'm going to have to double check that to be sure if it wasn't the weather satellites or something. There's a launch today in New Zealand. There's another launch today. There's two launches, and one that was set back because of a fuel leak, you say? Well, now a helium leak on another Falcon 9 rocket that they are the ones that are supposed to launch on the 7th today at 1:09 or 1:07 Eastern time. So it could be why maybe there won't be many people here if everyone's going to be watching the launch, because there's a launch right now. I should have told you. Everyone's going to go check the launch. Or you can watch both. You can watch the launch on one side and listen to me talking while the launch is there. Make things more exciting. Thanks again. Hey, Darla, hello. Thanks, everyone, for stopping by. Really appreciate that, everyone. Grip Rippers in the house. Johnny, boy, thank you very much. I live in the Shetland Islands, and they are building 3 spaceports. Wow. I love learning about that. In our own towns, when we know something's going on in town, they're building a Google here, right here, not far from me. Massive Google establishment. Well, anyway, it's a building. They're saying it's just the offices, but you never know what's going to happen in the near future. So that's a good one there. So you say 3 spaceports to launch 30 or so rockets a year. And that's exactly what I'm talking about today. There's a lot of racing to get launches going up. There's definitely going to be some more different satellite associations are fighting with themselves now because they don't want one association to have more launches than the other. And then, of course, the biggest problem with launching things for everything, whether it be launching Artemis 1 project or missions, the biggest problem are the launch windows. They have to launch when the moon is close to Earth. And Mars, even worse. Mars, it's once every 7 or 11 years, I think, that the moon is aligned properly with Earth. Mars retrograde, you can look that up. It's coming up. And in the past, Mars, at one point, there's an area in the sky where it travels, and then it looks like it starts traveling back on itself. And for the longest time, for many years, people never understood what that was and why that was happening. And it's called the Mars retrograde. It's, as they always say, the distance of Mars and Earth. And when we're turning, because at one point Earth is rotating, we're like both on racetracks around the sun, right? You have Earth on the inner circle, and on the outer circle, you have Mars. So at one point when we go by Mars, well, while we're traveling by Mars. That's when you start seeing Mars should travel more more into the southwestern sky, more west. It'll travel west at one point, and then it'll continue on its journey. They were talking about that Mars retrograde, like Selenelian. When they talk about the sun, and I laugh every time I say that, Selenelian. Would never have been able to know what that was a couple of years ago, but it's when the moon and the sun are 180 degrees, Earth at the same time, 180 degrees with them. These are the excuses as to why we see, the sun and the moon certain ways. Like they say that, hey, it's funny, you look up at the sun is the same size as the moon. Well, that's because the sun's really far away, but it's really big. Anyways, whether it be real or not, true or not, it's still just theories that they're shooting out there. Johnny Boy, thank you very much. Christopher Rollins in the house. Chantal, Dutch Hugs family, thank you very much. Chantal, nice to see you, sister. Patricia CN is in the house. Hi, Patricia. Argentina Linears, thank you so much. Sorry, Patricio. Sorry about that, my friend. Thanks, brother. Patricio CN from Argentina. Thank you very much. What were they saying? Argentina was just in the news recently. In my car in the parking, working today. I'll be back in 15 minutes. Thank you very much. Merci, mon frère. Surtout sur ta journée de travail pour toujours venir faire ton tour. Merci bien, gros. Mix Mayhem's in the house. Hey, hello, greetings. Thanks from the UK, of course. Thank you very much. Hope everyone's in good spirits. Yes, I am. I am definitely. You guys keep me in good spirits. Thanks again, Evelyn. We have Little Minx. Thanks for the amazing contributions, Little Minx, and everyone. Thanks for being here. It really is sickening, that video in the community. You guys got to check it out. An adult scaring the crap out of a child. Poor little girl had her hands shaking like this. It's nothing violent, but yes, it is actually very violent. Not physically violent, though. That was something else. That was something else. Having a whole association, a whole school with different teachers and different classes, and we have this idiotic fool dressed in a mask freaking out the kids. And she was excited. Like, you could see this woman was just getting her jollies, just because she was freaking out these poor little kids. I was telling my mom, I said, hey, I didn't even want to go to school. My first day at school should have been a sign to my mother that I was going to wind up with a YouTube channel and not do very good in school. Either I opened my lunch deliberately to let the apple fall. That wouldn't surprise me. But that was day one for me. Bruce goes to get on the bus, and the lunchbox opens up, and my apple fell down the stairs. That was it for me. Later, off the bus. I think a kid came out and grabbed me. I think my mother locked the doors, closed the blind. No, I'm kidding, Mom. Something like that. Get on the freaking bus. Get on the bus. Kimberly, how's it going? I had some screwed up teachers. My kid had some screwed up teachers. My kid took a video of a teacher listening to porn in class. And I remember the teacher saying something like, well, it's break time there. It's not during school hours. It's like, what the hell's going on? You wouldn't see that back in the days. So, when you ask yourself, are we evolving? I don't think so. I think we're devolving. We're going backwards in time. That's what's happening. China makes North Korea look like a Hawaii vacation. Yes, absolutely. And so China, these big words of Elon Musk, better be careful or you'll be taught a lesson. We cannot allow Elon Musk to express his freedom of speech the way he's doing and permit others in the West with their Western views. I don't know about you guys, but me, the Western people, we're sort of sick, really sick of being attacked and accused of a whole bunch of stuff. I think we all know by now, if you're living in the States, Canada, and around this region, well, we're living in the country where the rulers of our country are the baddest people. and they're killing people around the world, right? So everyone's going to be aiming for us. That's how I look at it. You have like over 200 countries around the world, but when you look in the news, you don't hear the countries talking in the news. Not a lot of people mention this, and I did myself, and even yesterday, the president of Mexico, Manuel whatever. The president of Mexico, you never hear talk about him. You don't hear him talking on the news. You don't see news media rushing to Mexico. How come all your citizens are leaving your country to go to the States? Do you have any comments on this? You don't hear about them. They're inexistent. Like the countries were sold off. Like they were literally sold off. I actually had to go to work with a horrible cold that just got worse this morning. Hey, sorry about that, Peter. Had a banging headache, but gone now. Just sniffles. Yeah, it sucks. And cough, sore throat. Well, vitamin C, man. You know how it is. Vitamin C. If you don't take zinc pills, get that, man. I take them now. Zinc. I take quite a bit of zinc, actually. I think about 85. Well, I won't tell you how much I take because I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to recommend people taking certain amounts of anything. But yeah, we got to stay healthy, eh? Thanks again, Darla. Carol, that's so nice of you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for being here. You guys rock. I've shown a base before of sinus iridum. A lot of people told me, and Darla will remember the reason why I have this photography website is because people said, Bruce, get a possible way for me to get a poster or something of that image, sinus iridum. You should sell it, man, make millions. So 2 sold in 3 years, but it doesn't matter. I never really shared the link, but if you're interested in rooting around the photography link, Darla shared it. And at the same time, on each of my videos, any link to contribute to the channel is in the details of the videos. I'm pretty good because I don't linger very long on, my fundraisers and talking about it and sharing out the mods that share it. But in reality, it's the only way that I maintain here by you coming here, watching a video, giving me a like. It helps with the algorithm. It's a bit of everything. It's not just about giving $1 or $2 here. It sure does help, but there's other ways also you can help the channel. Sharing out the links, talking about the channel always helps. French expression, bouche à oreille, from ear to mouth, just talking to people, getting the information out. If people want to see more videos, Josh in the house, thank you very much. How's it going, man? I'm doing good. I'm doing a lot better. I had eyelid was incredibly swollen. This allergy, still don't know what it is. That sort of allergy on my cheek. Maybe it'll change or get. I think it's been worse, and since the pandemic started, I know a lot of people have been having a lot of sores here and there, problems. I don't know if they're spraying the hell out of us. The chemtrails yesterday were crazy. Josh, thanks for being here. Z-Spin in the house. Thank you very much. Cuckoo, Kimberly, thanks again. How's it going, Annie Gaddis? CCP are in chaos. They absolutely are. Everything. They're having problems with their leaders, problems with their housing, the housing costs over there. There's great, big, massive protests that are going on down there. They always hide everything. They don't want people to know about what's going on. The leaders are all gone, executed for crimes against humanity. New replacements are talking about making China a democracy. Woohoo. Annie, a lot of crazy stuff is going on, and that could be absolutely possible that has happened. I'll tell you what, you know the expression puppets, right? Are puppet leaders. Well, for those that don't understand that, just makes sense. It's a puppet on a string, piece of wood, making the puppet do what it wants. And the presidents and the ones that we see on television are actually not making any decisions whatsoever. They have earpieces, they have screens to read in front of them. And, whether it be Obama still running the country or the FBI, CIA are running the country now. Trudeau here in Canada has mentioned that he had a great admiration for the way China's communist, corrupt government was running things and the control that they had over the people. So we have a lot of sick people that are involved, all the way from Anthony Fauci. There's another one who's now turning around telling people, hey, I never forced you guys to take any of that crap. your body, your choice. I mean, you wanted to take it. It's up to you guys. We're just offering you guys. We're not forcing you guys. It was a very big test that just happened and it went by. And I have a friggin' hard time. I have a neighbor, okay? She's up to her fourth, okay? Her fourth, and she has COVID right now. And she's complaining and she goes, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go get another booster. And what makes me sick is that I'm a horrible person for not opening my mouth and telling the person that the reason why she's sick is because of that. It's all out. We have Pfizer, head of the FDA, FCC, or whatever you call them, the food organizations. Everyone is speaking out. They're talking about the truth, but still some people are not realizing the truth because the media is still feeding propaganda bullshit. Excuse the expression, but it's true. It's feeding propaganda bullshit to the people. And some people have been listening to the same news media since the beginning of time. You're in Canada, 60, 70, 80 years old. You've been listening to CBC News for 50 years, 40 years. They're liars. All of them are liars. You can watch the news, but you have to watch and siphon and decipher exactly what's truth and what's not truth. Near impossible. Like Kimberly says, true story. I'm making that for myself. What if what we think are aliens aren't really aliens, but rather are just people who manage to get off of this rock? 100% also one of my theories that I would not rule out. Before the last cataclysm happened, he says, and who were part of the last civilization. Yes, and that's goes along the line of the theory when people, the term that's used is a breakaway civilization that could have lived here on Earth. And you said it would have been exactly when there was a cataclysmic event. And if we talk just basically with examples real quickly, just the massive flood itself that occurred here on Earth. If somebody had that technology and capability of leaving the planet because it was like literally the end of the planet, they would. I, for one, believe that ancient civilizations were far advanced. Scientists just discovered a 2 billion year old nuclear, I guess, site or a nuclear. Am I going to say it? A nuclear core, right? Producing nuclear way back in the day, plutonium, uranium. And they said that they found uranium that had a certain percentage of another element, which means that the uranium that we're finding or that they're finding there is, I don't know if it's in India or somewhere. It's Africa, sorry. They found out that the uranium had gone through fission. What fission is like the sun. The sun, they say it's not on fire, it's fusioning. Fusioning. But they said it went through nuclear fission. And that would have had to been heated up at so many degrees. So we have a 2 billion year old nuclear plant that literally was functional many years ago. Missiles, I believe, thousands of years ago, they had missiles and they were probably using nuclear here. We know the Egyptians themselves were very knowledgeable with the plumbing and had water in pipes going to and from different areas, dwellings, in different levels, that they were able to understand all that too. Like us today, that we do all the locks in the water and the dams. That was everything that we learned from the past. The past civilizations were extremely advanced over us. They were really advanced over us. Nikola Tesla was not the first to have made a remote controlled object, because thousands of years ago it was already done. They found a 2,000-year-old ancient Greek computer, they called it, and it's got a whole bunch of gears and mechanisms in it, farly advanced. We find things that are buried in archaeological sites that are too advanced for us to understand, and they're tools about astrology and the stars. They really knew a lot about the stars. Obviously, that's why it comes down to the story of that possibly an alien being would have come down to Earth. I'm going to go all out and be a little bit more drastic than that and say immaculate conception. What about immaculate deception? What if aliens came down to have sex with humans, or the humans are the outcome of God's having sex? pretty important kids. No wonder we're so bratty, eh? Spoiled. Listen, I'm laughing, but I'm serious. I think the alien part in the Bibles were possibly omitted. Are we going to find that out soon? I don't know. Are we ever going to see the interior of the Vatican archives exposed? I don't know. Hey, thank you very much. Inspired Wilderness Mentoring, new member. Thanks, you guys. Thank you so much. Happy Friday, you too, Mr. Pitchard. Thank you, guys. Yes, happy Friday. 30 satellites a year are getting launched here as NewsSpace port being built in Shetland, the most northerly island in Scotland. And you see, we don't hear talking about that. And that's the worst part. We don't hear talking about it. SpaceX was, they have to upgrade their launch pads. We're hearing a lot about that. Cape Canaveral and everything. They're going to be relaunching a ticket in the back of my shirt that is so bugging me. Sorry about that. Really professional. Yep, they have to update the launch pads and prepare for cargo missions. That's another thing that we're talking about on the moon. They have to come up with a way to make cement on the moon, obviously using the dirt, lunar dirt, whatever you want to call it, if you can call it dirt. So there's a lot of glass, whether it be true or not, a lot of glass, like fiberglass in the surface that would make for good cement, because they're going to need launch pads on the moon to be able to receive all the cargoes and whatnot, and everything's going, lots of trouble. Capstone, a tiny little microwave sized satellite on its way to the moon. It's been on its way to the moon for several days, and that Capstone is supposed to be talking about the cislunar satellite rotation that's going to be around the moon. They're having problems, guys. We're nowhere close to being close to going to the moon. Capstone is having problems, as a matter of fact, making it to the moon. And Capstone is also going to be monitoring and doing tests with the lunar gravity in the atmosphere, because, of course, they don't know if they're going to be able to land. Now, will they? We could be witnessing for the first time in our lives the first lunar landing. That's if they didn't go during the 1969 Apollo 11 lunar landing. So you have to wonder about that. Space debris, that's what they're also talking about in the news. And the before last video, thanks again for being a member, you guys. And the last video I posted some space debris, both in the past and recent space debris around the sun or between the sun and I. And only 3 days ago, at the same exact time that I posted that, NASA, NASA and the United States government was talking in the news at a convention or meeting or something about the problem with the space debris that's around Earth. Now, on November 5th, 2021, do you guys remember the missile that Russia launched without warning anyone? It was an unannounced missile launch that he went to hit one of his own defunctionalized satellites. His defunct satellite was out of commission. Hit that, and it caused a myriad of thousands of large pieces too, and even 1,000 trackable pieces. Some of those pieces, as of November 5th, 2021, kept going for many orbits and are still there, are doing many orbits around Earth. Went by a functional Chinese Earth observation satellite a hand distance away from the satellite and almost took it out. So that's why we've been hearing for the past few months, almost a year, if not even more than a year, if you're really following the space news, they want to come up with laws. But you see, NASA, the states want to come up with laws. China, Russia want to come up with laws, but nobody wants to get along. So every time something happens in space, like James Webb Telescope goes out in space, China, Russia are following it. Every time there's a moon mission, like there's going to be with Artemis, maybe one day, I don't know if they're going to make it, because Artemis 1 was put back till mid-November, by the way, just to let you all know that. There'll be no Artemis launch this month. It's pushed back also to mid-November. So that's more news of them pushing back. How many implications does the Ukraine and Russia war have on the launches? A lot. And depending on what's going on, the situational locations, sort of different regions in Ukraine and Russia, it's causing a lot of launch problems. The Ian that just went by also caused a launch problem. That's the reason why they're saying Artemis supposedly was not able to go up. And like every year after the hurricane, like Ian and the hurricanes, well, they start off as tropical storms. There's another one there. I don't know if it's Juliana or something. The next one that's supposed to happen. So maybe more and more as we advance through the years, it's going to be a lot harder for them to do certain launches. So as for the Artemis launch in 2024, I really do believe that they're going to set it back to 2025 or 2026, maybe even 2027, depending on what's happening. They're not even talking about the sun. The sun is exploding and it's doing a whole lot of things. It's very, very dangerous for us here on Earth. It's dangerous for astronauts to launch. Notice that those of you catching UFOs, when you see the sun is very, very active and that they're showing very large sunspots or that there's a danger for solar storms, flash, or coronal mass ejections, you will not see very many UFOs. I don't see them in the sky flying around when there's a lot of sun activity going on. Just goes to show that maybe some of those lights that we're seeing are human. 2 UFO reports more than 50 years after the Roswell incident, and now they're just floating and waiting. You see how long it takes for information to come out? Continue to check the blackvault.com for new declassified information that's coming out, over 3 million documents. And what we have to do is we have to go to that website. We have to look intensely in little documents. It's just written. Some of it's even written by hand. So they're not going to put that in the news. The last time I went there, I found out DARPA was doing mind control projects. And we're talking 2015, 2007, 2015. DARPA's been around for a shitload of time. I didn't think they had, but they've been here for a very, very long time. A branch of the DOD in the United States. And of course, CIA, FBI, they're different branches. They have different things that they're doing. That's for sure. Saturday, tomorrow, that's right. Saturday, some important information. This is news that I always go and look on Space News every month to find out the new that's coming out. Mercury, very, very hard, closest to the sun, obviously. But now the furthest from the sun, it's going to be very, very high, not very high up in the sky, but very, very high as compared to where it usually is, very low. If you're like me, all the trees that are around my house, I don't have a possibility of being able to get Mercury very, very often. Now it should be a lot higher, actually, off of the horizon, and that should be seen. It's like the alignment of the planets. If these planets would not be aligning, boy, the launch dates would be a lot later. They would have a lot more problem. Now they're going to gain a lot of extra time and have less days of traveling if, when things are aligned. Because think of it, the planets are always moving around. So if you're going to go to Mars when it's really far away, it's going to take a while. And, when Mars is at its closest approach, well, they go straight through instead of traveling around. So what they're talking about is the space debris. Everyone's talking about it. The United States government's talking about it. Russia's talking about it. All the countries are talking about the big space debris problem. Before last video that I posted, I saw some space debris. It could be, again, debris, UFO, whatnot. It's near impossible to know what these objects are, but there's lots of objects. Navy was tracking, I think, my God, 28,000 objects. And then 3 months later, they were tracking 54 or 58,000 objects. And there are millions of objects, debris around Earth. Not just 60,000 objects. It's that there's 60,000 being tracked. So that one Russian missile that hit that satellite, all the debris that that collision made for at least 1,000 large trackable objects that are being tracked in space. What happened at that moment also, I forgot to tell you, the ISS space station, when the unannounced missile went up from Russia to take out their dysfunctional satellite, well, they had to bunker down. There's certain safe areas that they have to go into, certain rooms, because the ISS space station has to move for debris sometimes. I don't know if you've heard it, even recently in a couple of months that went by, they had to move the space station over a couple of degrees to let larger objects go by. So it's definitely a problem, and they're making more and more. So because of that, now they're talking about new satellite regulations. This is just fresh in the news. Usually a satellite can be commissioned for and last for about 20 years. And there's lots of different orbits and different types of orbits where these satellites are. You have geostationary orbit, where it's stationary but turning simultaneously with the moon or with Earth, more with Earth. Or you have the ones that are going all around Earth. A lot of people tell me there are tens of thousands of satellites, Bruce, out there, and you guys are wrong that are saying that. There are only 4,999 satellites out there. Maximum 5,000 satellites with an accumulation of all the countries around the world. 5,000 satellites, not more than that. And Elon Musk himself said that we could literally coexist with billions of satellites, that it's not going to affect us at all. But if we look at what Russia did, decommissioning. So get this, Russia took out one satellite, defunctioned satellite, one, and it caused thousands of pieces of debris hitting almost the Chinese satellite, Earth viewing satellite. It hit almost the ISS space station. Obviously, it's going around again, so they have to track these all the time. They have to continually track them all the time. So, oh yeah, the Orionids, guys, the Orionid meteor showers. So Orionids, they're all the month of October and November, but the peak for all during October and November will be October 20th. So those are the ones, and I caught one before. Maybe I'll show it in the next video. These meteors last a long time. You can see some green lights coming from them, and the streaks that occur in the sky from the Orion meteor showers, the Orionids, what happens is the streaks remain there for longer periods of time. We should see up to 22 meteors an hour, they're saying, and that'll be leading up, of course, to October 20th. So, and tomorrow, Mercury high on the horizon in the morning. So, a couple of things that we could look for that I thought it was cool to mention. A couple of important things because there's so much news coming out. Rocket Lab launches a satellite for wildlife tracking. This is the other launch today that I wanted to get out there so people know. It's on October 7th. Oh, guys. Okay, so the one in New Zealand, it's Rocket Lab that's launching from New Zealand. I don't know if I said that before. Maybe I was wrong. The satellite is for wildlife tracking. Another thing that concerns me. They're getting ready for big cataclysmic events. They're going to have to track all wildlife. They're going to have to chip us and track us through every method that they have. It's because something could be happening, you know. So October 7th at 1:09 p.m., which when I started the live stream, minutes after I started the stream, a program that collects data from thousands of sensors. So thousands of sensors all around the world on the surface that are tracking animals, cameras, whatever, sensors, I guess, for movement, are going to be tracked by those two satellites. So it's a 2-satellite launch. That double satellite launch didn't launch. I found also that out. It is going to be launched today, but the reason why it was set back till today is because yet another leak, except this time a helium leak that wasn't. We're hearing about a lot of leaks, right? Blue Origin is supposed to bring up tourists in space and bring them back down. They're talking about the next launch with 5 or 6 people they're going to be launching, and this is after they had a failure with their launch, an anomaly they called it. It didn't work. It plummeted back to Earth. The fuel canister, there was an explosion. Then they used these parachutes, 2 sets of 3 parachutes to come down to lower this object. It was the Blue Origin that went up was an unmanned mission. There was nobody in them. But the next launch, there is going to be someone in them. The Congress of the United States government asked for transparency on exactly what happened with the Blue Origin anomaly incident, and they have not spoken about it yet. Anyone want coffee? Getting out as much news as possible. Ryanids, we got that too. So there's one that's done. Okay. Blue Origin's new Shepard. That's the one. The anomaly, they were supposed to go up, the unmanned mission, they never went up. Trips me out. SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket aborts the double satellite. So that's the one I was talking about before. And to be relaunched today, October 7th. I don't know whether they're going to be launching it or not. Hey, thanks so much, Evelyn. Karen Massey in the house. Now I'm scrolling down, so if I miss anyone there, I almost did. Watch Woman of the Dragon. Thanks for being here, sister. Love you guys. Burns in the house. Says all government leaders and foot soldiers should remember they serve us. That's right, and I hope that all the military people are going to know that. That's why the military people that are there now are some of the ones that they're keeping there, and you know, a lot of the good ones left. And you know, imagine being there and having a career, being there for so long, and then all of a sudden, you realize that the military you're with is corrupt, what the government is, and you know, it's a domino effect. They start giving off orders in the military, and everyone has to listen to what they're talking about. Really scary stuff when you think of it. Definitely scary stuff. Thanks so much, Darla. Let me scroll down here. 151. I'm always late with everything. Always late for everything. And I hate missing. It's going to get busy here with NASA and Shetland home at the Shetland Pony. They might launch them. Who knows? They could be launching them right now, Johnny Boy, as a matter of fact. And again, thanks for that heads up about the launches in Scotland. What do you think would happen, says Andrew, if they really are mining the lunar surface and cause destabilization of the moon's orbit around Earth? Ouch. Crazy stuff, eh? Could they possibly cause a cosmic scale disaster? Well, see, that's what I'm curious about, is the domino effect. If we know that the polarity is changing, is that like, does that happen to all the planets in the solar system? Does shift happen to everyone? Or are we just seeing all these planets changing because in reality it's only Earth that's shifting? And it looks like everything's out of whack when in reality everything's in the same place, but Earth is acting differently. So many questions about that. But that is a hell of a good question, because think of it, if they're mining and they've been mining for thousands of years on an object that is keeping Earth supposedly tidally locked in place in stationary orbit, always the same side facing Earth, you got to really wonder. I think it could be a possibility for sure. And now, Andrew, add just an asteroid coming between Earth and the moon. Say 2 or 3 lower Earth or objects that are stationary around Earth. Then we have a problem, because let's say all that's set up, but then there's always a then, right? Then a larger asteroid like Nibiru or you know, Oumuamua came in from interstellar space, went around the sun, went around Earth, and then went back out into the constellation of Lyra, Oumuamua, a Hawaiian named asteroid, which was elongated, totally alien. And they say that it has nothing to do with any shape of an asteroid. Like 99.9% of the time, asteroids are shaped like potatoes. It's the shape I believe the moon has, and it's the shape I believe Earth has. As a matter of fact, they say the moon's potato shaped. I'm not making that up, but I also think the Earth could possibly be potato shaped. That was a hell of a good question, though. But the domino effect, something happens to the sun, It makes changes to Earth. It makes changes to the other. I believe that domino effects in space, the ripple effect, if you want, everything going outwards and just changing everything. Yeah, I believe that's possible. Totally possible. Lisa, thank you very much, Lisa. Lisa had gotten me a nice gift, you guys. Incredible gift. Little coin that went to space, to the moon. Silver. It'll be rising soon, Lisa. Silver. That's incredible. Incredible souvenir. Vinny, how's it going, man? Nice to see you guys. Thanks again, Barb Weiss, for being here. Barb Weiss in the house. It definitely is, man. That's what's going on in the schools, bro. Yeah, man. I hope you feel better soon, Elias. Sorry about that, man. Mr. Peter Benton, off to Kelly's now. Catch you up later. Moon is on horizon. I hope you got it, man. I'll be checking out your video later. I'm late. I have another one I wanted to see. I think you'd already gotten the moon. You're getting more moon than me this week, man. Looking good. So gonna film with whilst listening at Kelly's. Bye for now. I love you, bro. Thanks, man, for the generous contributions and everything, man. Thanks for being here. Please say hi to Kelly for me. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Kimberly. Je te remercie beaucoup, ma jolie. It's a romantic language. When you're not telling someone off, it's a very romantic language. Hey, Richard Vaught in the house. Thanks for being members, you guys. If they go back to the moon, what will its inhabitants do? That is the question of the day. Thank you very much, Richard. And sorry for having waited half an hour to answer that. I'll skedaddle down to the comments. Yes, Karen Massey, that woman is definitely sick in the head. Definitely sick in the head. That is the question, Richard. If they go to the moon, what will its inhabitants do? So this is why I say when they're going to the moon, for example, with Artemis, not one, but the Artemis project, bringing back soldiers, astronauts to the moon, humans to the moon, supposedly since the 70s. They're supposed to land in the southern pole. Okay. If they land there, I'm assuming that if there are people on the moon, couldn't some regions of the moon be regions where the moon people don't go? Like here, if they land in Antarctica and they're in, the ice and it's not an area where there's roads going by, could there not be an area on the moon where we could actually do the same thing and actually go down to the moon and not get caught by landing on the surface and being able to observe them, maybe in a higher orbit? I think a little bit like what they're doing here, but that really is the question. And that's where we're going to hopefully know, but I don't know if we're going to know it or not, but that's what we want to find out. Are they working with humans, those aliens? Are there humans and aliens on the moon at the same time? We just had another person that mentioned it as so often as all of us have mentioned it. Could it also be, or a breakaway civilization after a cataclysmic event that happened here on Earth that would have made humans have the capability of leaving this planet and going to live elsewhere? It would scare me more, and I've been saying it all year. It would scare me a lot more knowing that there's humans on the moon than that they're actually aliens, because humans like fighting. Look at them fight to go to the moon like a bunch of infantile children. War, that's all they care about. They care about big bombs. They have parades. We have the US going down a couple of days ago. Everyone's wondering why North Korea is sending missiles over Japan. Well, it's because the states are there with their boats. They're doing a military practice with South Korea a couple days before. And then they launched a missile over Japan. As a matter of fact, when Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan, right? Like they always do, usually. I don't like her as a person, but anyways, when the states go to Taiwan, good people, we got nothing against them. There are our allies. What did they do? At the same time, or the day before, or the day after, when Nancy Pelosi was there or coming or whatnot, North Korea launched a missile or two or three or whatever over Taiwan. So that's what they do. It's fear tactics. They threaten in the news, don't do this, or Nancy Pelosi will get her plane shot down if she comes here. They don't want Western people talking about their government and putting them down. Holy crap. Are they ever? I mean, were Egyptian kings and goddesses that extravagant, do you think? Probably were a lot worse than that. Me, I think it's a big joke. Never bow your heads down to any government. We made those governments. They better be on their toes because the people are watching, and the people are going to be up their ass in not too long. They think if they're only worried about protests, count yourself lucky that's all that's happening, because some people are mad. Really can, Evelyn, mentally scarred children with that. Look, something happened with my father. I was mentally scarred. I didn't even have an image, a gruesome image or nothing. I'm still scarred. You know, that's horrible. These kids are there. They know it's Halloween. It's embarrassing, actually. It's embarrassing to see an adult doing that to a kid. It's just crazy. Bike Hub, thanks for being here. Washington in the house. Kevin, hello. I did not see Kevin. Thanks for being here, Kevin, if you are here. Kimberly, you took the words out of my mouth. Literally nothing is surprising anymore. That's really true. Yeah, the freak show of their matrix. Yeah, because they live in their own illusion. We all live in the same simulation. That's something David Icke and a bunch of people were talking about, but I have a problem with the word matrix or simulation or illusion. There's a word missing when you talk about living in an illusion. It's not an illusion. We have physical objects. We're not an illusion. It's all real. It's all real. Why would people think we're living in a simulation? But here's the thing. We live in a simulated reality, virtual reality. We live in a physical illusion, so that everything that's around us is something that the perception to those surroundings were changed. It's a lie that we were told. We see light, right? David Icke mentions this that way about the light. Like when you're looking around yourself, the spectrum of our eyes can only see so many, between a certain degree of nanometers, like 4, 7, whatever. We can see objects and we can see light and color. The rest we don't see. So everything else, it's not that it's not there, but for us, it's not in our reality. And I think that our perception of us living in a universe when we're surrounded by parallel worlds and probably more universes, that's the part that they don't tell us about. But we don't live in an illusion exactly. It's a physical illusion. So everything that's going on, people, I don't know how many times people ask me, Bruce, is the moon a hologram? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's a hologram, because I don't know why they would put structures in the hologram. That's where the hologram, for me, the theory just crumbles. But not necessarily crumble, because I do believe that they're actually using holographic. This is all in theory there. We have no proof. I think it's natural weather and natural elements of Mother Nature that are hiding everything. But I think that they can use light and darkness and the Terminator line and the way the surface is made to build objects so that they are unseen or harder to see, because we're seeing them. And when I saw the first structure, that's when I realized they're hard to see, but they're not hidden. They're right there. It's the construction, the way it's constructed. People don't have an understanding of how the surface is constructed. They have a hard time understanding that. Thank you so much, Julie. Thanks for being here, Julie. Love you guys so much. Holly Angel in the house. How long ago did Bruce sees all this live stream start? Last few days. Notice YT notification me either after subscription live stream. Sorry about that. Has ended. No notifications. Yeah, we started exactly 1 hour and 4 minutes ago, my friend. Holly Angel. Sorry, Holly Engel. Yep, 1 o'clock Eastern time. So we started about an hour ago. Yeah, there's lots of glitches on YouTube, unfortunately. Thanks again, Byrne, for being here. Inspired Wilderness Mentoring. Thanks for becoming a member, my friend. Andrew says, I found Patents for human implants that monitor and measure human body activity. Really? An energy consumption. And it could be used to implement a new BTC pay system based on your energy expenditure. Jesus, Murphy. Well, I tell you what, if they base my money and my net worth based on the energy that I have, I just may be able to compete with Elon Musk finally. Oh, not even close, eh? We're sick of not slapping the shite out of creeps doing bad things. You telling me? I mean, woman or not, that woman that was doing that at the schoolboy, you just want to grab her by the throat. That was something incredible. Oh my goodness. And then you wouldn't want to start screaming at the teacher to even traumatize even more the kids. That was something so sinister. That was scary. That was that's satanic trolling, I think. Literally hating the kids. And I don't understand it. It's regular white people, right? Like regular white people attacking their own white kids. You got white people in America saying whites are scum because of their privilege. I understand. When you see a black person, apologize to them. You're less better than them. And the understanding of that is so effed up. All freaking lives bloody matter, for Pete's sakes. They did the wrong thing when they brought color into this all. When they brought the problem color into this, that's when the problem started. Because we got racist people standing by, waiting just for a black person or a white person to do something for them to say, well, look at that race, bunch of wahoos. And in reality, we're just putting them all in the same boat. Too many people on this earth for us to say, oh, a black man or a white man or a Chinese man or a Muslim person did that. There's a lot of bad people. There's a lot of, for every bushel of apples, there's always a rotten apple. And that's always going to be for no matter what sports, politics, ruling the earth, wars. We're always going to see that. Always, 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 always going to see that, unfortunately. Pretty funny now. Fauci, Kamala, and Pelosi have been kept out of the public eye for, yeah, you're right. You're right about that. The past 2-3 months, 3-4 months, eh? Probably I'd say maybe 2 months. Also, no news from Canada's Tam Tam. Oh my gosh. 6P United Front agent. I can't stand that person, bro. I can't stand that person. Destroying Canada. That's what they're doing. They're destroying Canada. The Pope came down to apologize to all the Indians for them having raped kids all their lives. I don't think the Indians in Canada were very appreciative of that act. I think he would have been best staying in his hometown of hell. Sharon Yan Luca, Morning Sunshine, Star Hunter. Thanks again, you guys. Lisa says, Bruce, the problem you are having with your eyes swelling is caused by chemtrails. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. And they're spraying like madman. Try just wearing goggles when you are outside. And I got a story for that. Outside, there are people where we live, and they were told it's chemical spray. I thank you so much. I love you so much for that, Lisa. I believe you too, and I also believe that the problem can absolutely be that. Funny you say with goggles. I have problems with wind in my eyes and stuff. I always have problems with the dry eyes syndrome. Is what I call it, whether it's that or not. Goggles, yeah, literally. I had gone camping at one point, and I remember the dust and the roads, and where all the dust was flying around, and the old campfires that were burnt the night before. So I had some goggles when I went camping, walking around with my goggles on all day. It was pretty cool. I had no eye problems. Looked pretty crazy. Like I said, Lisa, at one point, for real, we're going to have to put on a spacesuit to bring the garbage out there, to walk to the corner in our oxygen, big oxygen suit. All true. No, I'm too young to know John Wayne, but I can imitate him. I know the guy's voice and just don't remember exactly what the law was. It is Nez Lover, 100%. 100% created in a lab. It is a bioweapon. It was created in Wuhan lab in China. Point final, the end for me. It's always going to remain a fact. And people here are still jibba-jubbing because they're saying, my God, I'm still sick. I caught it again. What's wrong with my immune system? I must have to take the booster and stuff like that. That's why you're sick. Stop taking it. Something that started in a lab. It's not a cold. They were splicing cells, is what they did. So the pantomime, sit back and watch. Yep. All we can do is hope people wake up. Yeah, that's exactly it, brother. And people are waking up, People really, really are waking up. That is a good thing. They can go to Helm, starting a survival school to teach people things we will need to know to survive with shift and when the shift happens. You're absolutely right about that. I've always been and up to date with the preppers, real preppers that are prepping. Have you guys seen the bunkers in Nevada? And there's a certain area, I think it's Nevada, I could be wrong. I think it's in Nevada that they're able to have the earth homes. They're called earth dwellings or earth homes, made with tires, dirt, sand. They're doing experimentation in the desert there. And me going all out, it's what I would do. Like it makes totally common sense to me to get 5 or 10 friends, which is hard to have 10 friends you can be confident on monetarily, money-wise, but to buy a big ass piece of land together to build one dwelling, but to have different sections of our own homes in one big ass dwelling surrounded by a big ass wall, put cameras there around it. We all learn how to shoot guns, collect rainwater, the whole thing. Just start doing all there, the windmills, the solar solar panels, whatever. For me, that's the only thing that makes sense. Billionaires have in place the bunkers ready, right? Have you ever, another thing, these are hot topics on YouTube, trending topics. Look at, if ever you're bored and you need some new keywords to look at some new types of videos on YouTube, I think I know every type of video that's on YouTube by this point. I said it just the last month. I sat down and I said, yep, I think I've seen every YouTube video of my life. We see a lot of things happening, like preppers that have their videos that make their look at the container homes, 2 containers in an L together, and they cut their windows out of there. That's incredible. They make these beautiful sturdy, safe homes, and they put them in the ground, underground bunkers. And we don't all have money to do that, of course, but you said it, Pat. Pure bloods rule. Okay, yes, absolutely. And I am a pure blood. The news are already starting to mention it, saying, oh, the ones that were able to hold off, boy, they will be making it to heaven. Because I tell you, the fear tactics that they were pushing on that was horrible. If you want your kids to go to school, get jabbed. If you want to be able to keep going to work and go to grocery stores, get jabbed. But we're not going to force you. That was a trick, right? We're not going to force you, but you're not going to be able to use your money in that store over there. As a matter of fact, the American government, the worst of them all, especially now, started saying to people in the States, if ever you see people not getting jibba-jabbed, let them know they're stupid. Let them know they're scum. Let them know you don't want to be near them. Let them know they're not welcome in the restaurant. Make some noise. Push them away. The governments wanted to cause this incredible fighting between us all, that hasn't changed. That's always been what they want to do. They want the blacks and the whites to fight together. What would have happened instead of Black Lives Matter and Antifa, the fake Marxist corrupt groups of thugs, instead of having those groups, what would have happened if after, Floyd and everything happened, that the blacks and the whites held hands together and just stuck with it? We're going to overcome, backing up what Martin Luther King said, backing up what Malcolm X, whatever you want to say, a lot of respected people. That's what we have to do, is fend together and say no more friggin' fighting, because it makes no sense seeing people on the lefts. And one guy went as far as saying, hey, you black people in the government working for KKK. And that's literally what's going on, guys. I hope you know it. Who's running the American government, boy? I tell you, there's no hiding there. They're dismantling the CIA and the FBI. They've been doing it for the past 3 years, and there's probably another 3 to 5 years that they're going to be dismantling it again. We're seeing the tip of the iceberg. Finally, we're starting to see some good things happen. In Italy, we have a Republican conservative coming in as compared to the liberal leftists. So that's a good thing. Things are changing. The Democrats in the United States are realizing now that they are not going to be able to be in for the next election. They're not going to win. Maybe Hillary Clinton, which is so funny. She is saying she's going to be running in 2024. But hey, who misses? I miss, Trump's tweets, and I miss Hillary's tweets. I used to love when politics and politicians used to just legally fight amongst themselves, and there was no corruption. We just straight up blaring, calling each other names, and that is the best time for people to see how unprofessional these goons are. So unprofessional. They're in it for the money. That's all they're doing there. Imagine if chemtrails were actually the white hat spraying a cure over everything on Earth. You see, that's something you don't want to hear. You know why? Because it gets so confusing, but I can't help but not rule out any of those things. I, too, when I look up at the sky, I say, please, God, let it be that they're protecting us from the sun, or let it be something like that, right? But it can go many ways, man. It really can go many ways. Everything that we learned is upside down. Hi, Tina. Thanks so much, Tina. Everything we learned is upside down and has been distorted. So when you look at something, look at it outside of the box or look at it upside down. Everything's shifting right now. I think it's a good thing. Maybe we're shifting right side up. We're not shifting under. We're shifting over, right? Right? Maybe not, but Inspired Wilderness Mentoring. Thanks again, coming in. Mike Hall, how's it going, man? Aliens are the Nephilim. That's another theory, yes, along with the last spirits of their offspring waiting for Judgment Day. Thank you very much, Mark. A lot of the scriptures talk about exactly what you just said there. I've read that myself, and I do hear a lot of people talking about it. A lot of people bring that theory to the table. The Nephilim, the Anunnaki, Anu, and all that, all these names. And now, very recently, I'm being very careful talking about this. I'm not going to be the bringer of truth for this one, but Jesus Christ's bloodline has been found here on Earth now, and is known in the DNA wise from an old Bible that was found in a part of a text that was written explaining that, talking about Jesus's bloodline, and also talking about his daughter and a whole bunch of things. I got a friend who got jibbity, so he could go to the pub now. Yeah, and listen, I don't blame the guy, right? Like, thinking of it, this poor guy is saying he can't even go to the pub. And I remember that happened here. I remember it started in the UK or England, right? Where they said that. I saw a whole bunch of people, 50s and 60s, they go to the pub. It's not anybody's business. If people are going to the pub and they want to go even every day or in the morning, they finish working, they're retired, they're able to walk and leave from there without hitting anyone or walk home. Nothing wrong with that. But they did that. They changed it. So he said he got cancer 5 months after his first. I'm very sorry to hear about that, Mick. But it's really true. The people, it's causing sickness. It's causing sickness. Like, put a stop to it, put a break to it. If you got 1 or 2 and you just stop there. Stop there. Listen, COVID, it's a cold, a flu now. It's over with. That's what I say. Government themselves, Joe Biden even said the pandemic was over, even though he doesn't know if it's coming or going. That's for sure. Hey, that thing. He doesn't even know what he's saying half the time when he's talking. Bruce, the fallen angels, there's another one, flunked heaven and believers go into millennium. Another stage of development then flunked from that are erased. And see, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Watchwoman of the Dragon. So, you know what, sister? Imagine if we didn't have any of those theories. Imagine not knowing about the Anunnaki. Imagine having never heard about Planet X, having never had a Bible to be able to make references with names and events that would have happened. A lot of people are basing their belief systems on something they read somewhere in one certain area. Sometimes not you, but I'm saying in general, that's what some people can do, and they get stuck on one certain theory. Like, that's interesting what you're saying, and of course I keep it in mind, but it could be that we don't know who's coming or what's coming or even what happened, and it could be that they omitted some of the truth and or even added a lie in that Bible or in many of the scriptures that we've seen. So thanks for being here, you guys. Mick, Mark, thanks, you guys. Watch One of the Dragon, thanks for commenting. Mix Mayhem says we've been told here in the UK to prepare for rolling blackouts. That's what I'm worried about too. And to wash our grundles at midnight to save energy. Worrying. And if you have a smart meter, get paid. Oh, yeah, right, eh? See, listen, that's what's going to happen. And as a matter of fact, what do you think they're going to do with the electric cars? Would have wanted us all to have electric cars. They're dying on the autoroutes, by the way. When your electric car dies down on the autoroute, you can't even call it a tow truck because you're stuck in park. If you can't start your vehicle, you can't get it out of park. It's a ridiculous situation. They're talking about it more and more. I saw, and like there is no quality, okay, to the ones that are like a Jaguar. Electric Jaguar blew up the other day, a couple months ago. Massive fire after he charged it and went for like a 10-20 minute drive. So that's very concerning. Very troubling. The rolling blackouts, and that's what they want to do. You see Nord Stream? They said it wasn't even that bad now. They're saying, oh, it's not that bad, Nord Stream. Really not that bad. I'm still not putting it against Russia themselves could have done it. I mean, who cares? And like who, they're literally leaking gas into the ocean and no one's talking about it. They're just worried about who did it. Then about a week after they started talking about Nord Stream 1 and 2, they said, well, Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 was never functional, so it doesn't really matter anyways. But at the beginning, they said Nord Stream 2 was functional, and now it cut off energy to Germany. How come? The very next day, okay, 24 hours after, we heard in Sweden or Germany, they have their own pipeline now. The next day, they were cutting the scissors with the scissors, the band, the ribbon that was going across for initiating and turning on the pipeline. The next day, it's because everything that's going on is planned, eh? It's all planned ahead of time. Like the space wars. What do you think is going to happen to want to go to the moon? China wants to take control of the moon, says Nelson, administrator of NASA. And I believe it. I believe NASA and China are going to have a definite problem on the moon. So now, the Pentagon that gets caught with declassified documents on the blackvault.com that said that for years, them and other branch of the associations, obviously Defense Association, were planning on nuking the moon, the time traveling, experimenting on the moon with the taxpayers' money without them knowing about it. And they did this, and they still are doing it over and over and over and over again. I don't know how they still get all this funding from people, So it's secret societies. It's private little societies where they need a funder. They need a couple of funders, big funders that will give so many billions or millions of dollars throughout the year to be able to continue their dark secret projects. And that's what they're doing. They can't explain the glass all over the desert too. Another thing. Yeah. And you mean the glass, like you're talking about the glass that like from volcanic glass, right? Like that erupts. Look at meteors when they hit. I have a piece here. I'd have to get that. Maybe tonight I'll show you guys a piece. I have a piece of volcanic glass where it's actually, I think there's only one area in the world, basically, it's all coming from there, Germany, something like that, near a volcano. and it's green. It has the atmosphere trapped inside of it that last exploded so fast. So it's like, wow. We don't know anything about our planet. We don't know anything about what's in the oceans. We sure as hell don't know what's going on in Antarctica, aside from them doing core samples and pulling out core samples of the ground. Then we found out just a couple of years ago that all the carbon dating that we were doing for things from the Shroud of Turin all the way to carbon dating core samples that we're pulling out of Antarctica, they were wrong about the carbon dating. The way they were doing it is wrong. Apparently, we are off 12, 15,000 years on the Shroud of Turin, and we're off on a whole bunch of things, right? A lot of people stay stuck on certain things. Well, the Shroud of Turin is Jesus. Some people say Shroud of Turin is in no way Jesus. And, we just continue on and fight on about that. But no real understanding or any examination is being done, because carbon dating is a theory. The same way they say CO2 is destroying the earth. Yeah, right. It's not destroying the earth. If there would be no CO2 emissions, you wouldn't be here. It's that drastic. I assure you that we need the CO2 emissions. Ouais, c'est vrai, ça, ça c'est difficile. C'est pas mangeuse de chair, ça, c'est difficile. Non, c'est pas tout à fait pareil. Il y a eu un outbreak, comme tu dis, comme un genre de petite pandémie, là, que ça va sortir, je me souviens de ça. Ils nous arrosent pas assez avec assez de choses, les hostines. Yes. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, think of it. The more we're digging, the more we're finding out that we're pretty advanced. Hey, James. Damn right. Probably mine too. Am I allowed to identify as an alien, or is that cultural appropriation? No, not at all. I mean, go right ahead. I prefer you identifying as an alien as being a me, her, he, with all that gender crap that's going on about there. Honestly, Richard, I consider myself and everyone here on Earth that we are the aliens. We're the ones that are doing the abducting. We're the ones that are doing the creating in our image, right? We're going around producing a whole bunch of different beings for sinister reasons, and we're all doing that in competition with other countries. We got Russia, China, and the States competing all the time. It's almost hilarious. Yes, the Anunnaki also another important piece that people often talk about it. Absolutely. I think that ancient device was a product of time travel experiments. I think you're right. Kind of the plot line from Will Ferrell's movie about time travel. I didn't see that. I have to see that. From Nine, the Lost, and the lighter found from the dinosaur era. I haven't seen it, but I can imagine what you're saying. Just imagine during a dinosaur area, someone finding a lighter. Yeah, that's like, well, I can't use that one anymore. I was going to talk about the sarcophage, that they found a watch in the sarcophage, but it turns out apparently that one was a lie, and that one really hurt me. I was like, oh, it makes sense. They have watches. They probably did have watches back then and clocks, but maybe not wrist watches. But they had all that stuff, springs and screws, and I mean, we back in the past they had all those things, and it only makes perfect sense that when a cataclysmic event happens, that's when the technology goes dead. There's a gap of 200 to 300 years in our history from going way back. There's a time in history when nothing happened, where there's no information about what happened. Well, between cataclysmic events, let's say right now, if there's nuclear war and the world is destroyed, well, we probably won't see civilization start back up properly. I'm going all out here. Worst case scenario might take till maybe 2075 or 2100 for us to come back on, start getting energy back up and stuff. Just a minute, guys. So sorry. Sorry about that. Beth, thank you so much. How's it going? Sorry I'm late. Happy Friday. Love you guys. I love you more. Better late than never, Beth. Halloween coming this month, guys. Little suggestion. Stay home and rent a scary movie with your kid this year. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm feeling terror attacks and a whole bunch of crazy stuff. If you're seeing a lot of bad things happening, I know a lot of you are like me, empaths, or you have vibrational energy only in a positive way where you don't want to hear anything negative. It's important for us to find out what some of the negative is going on, but there's nothing pleasant about it. It's horrendous. It's horrendous. It makes me sad. Then I start feeling responsible for not doing anything. But I think it's important for us to find out what the hell's going on there in schools. You know, I always said I've always been the eyes for all the parents that their kids come with me on the bus. When the kids used to get on with me on the bus, both the medical bus and the school buses, also afterwards, I always felt like I was a responsible parent there on that bus, and I always tried to protect them. But if everyone did that, the people that worked in hospitals, do you believe me that today we don't yet have in old folks' homes and hospitals and schools and trains and buses cameras? Sure, some of you are going to say, well, no, we got some. It could be in the States. You guys are more advanced than us, especially with the schooling. At least you guys have bloody seatbelts, I think, in your buses. Some of you. In the States, we don't have them here. We cut them off. We hide them. We don't want the kids using them because it would be too hard for us to go with the kids hanging off the ceilings. That's right. That's the only excuse we have. It'd be too expensive to redo all the buses, the school buses. But anyways, here in Canada, we buy our school buses from Philadelphia, and you guys down there in Philadelphia in the States. Bluebird Company, and that's all where the buses come from. So not for the faint-hearted. Yes, lots of things. Hey, Pat, thanks for being here. Annie says Google's being taken over by the quantum computer, right? Right. At the end of this month, internet, cell phones, TV will be down for 10 days. Oh, no, that is something definitely it's going to occur. There will be a time where everything is going to be down. It's not going to be for a month, but it can be for more than a week, which is going to be very concerning. A new world, a new era. We're living in a new age. It's a new age. We really are living in a new age. Everything's changing. Everything is going to be changing. So the Blue Origin, we talked about that. Rocket about the double satellite, we talked about that. I talked about that already. What else? The space debris. I want to see if I missed anything here. Some information in the news really quickly. Lucy. Yeah, the Lucy program, the Lucy mission, going to fly by 7 asteroids. And this is in the next 12 years, as it's in progress now, I guess. In one spacecraft, they're going to be visiting the Trojan asteroids, small bodies. Like you see, when you hear about the asteroids and the belts, and when you hear between Jupiter and Mars, everything winds up there. All the asteroids in general, from the beginning of time, when all the planets were formed, they all wound up there, and all those pieces and slivers are all there. And like James Webb Telescope. James Webb Telescope has been bombarded by meteoroids all month and last month, and it shouldn't be the case because they are in Lagrange point, which is L2, an area of space where there's absolutely no debris or any asteroids or anything flying around, supposedly. So you have to wonder if sometimes could it be an actual, alien or something that tries to take out some of these craft that NASA sends out. NASA's Capstone probe is still struggling as it tries to make it to the moon. That's what they send there to read the oxygen levels and gravity force and pressure that's around the moon, because of course we never landed on the moon, so they won't know how to land on the moon. They lost control of it. Also, Capstone. So who says that Capstone is not going to be flown into the moon? Capstone a small microwave-sized satellite. That would make sense, eh? Maybe we do some more testing of driving something into the moon. Hey, as a matter of fact, it could be part of some of the tests that the Pentagon themselves wanted to do. Absolutely average. Better late than never. Thanks a lot. Hey, Johnny boy, thank you so much. And that's what I try to do. And a lot of it's thanks to a lot of you guys and gals. There's a lot of things that we know now that are going on. I call it, the good stuff, the stuff that people really aren't really talking about. It's the things that people are leaving out. Book of Enoch goes into deeper on. You said it, Watchwoman of the Dragon. When I looked at the Book of Enoch, that's when I got a lot more progressively into. I think it's the only book at all that's really, really talking about alien beings and races. That's definitely a good one. And the Book of Enoch also tells us a lot of revelations, many revelations about Christ, Moses, and even God himself. Google's being taken over. Yeah, it was a good one, Annie, which is probably true. We'll be looking for some more news on that and what's happening. Yeah, I really hope you feel better about that, Darla. Gary Wayne in his book Genesis 6, Conspiracy, the Gray Alien Looking Being are a subcategory of Nephilim. You know what? I have to start looking at more theories and more movies. And when I started doing this, I knew about nothing, not even Planet X, nothing. And then I started filming stuff, and a lot of you guys and gals started coming here saying, holy crap, Bruce, check out Planet X, check out Nephilim, check out this, or check out that person, this person. And, because I found a lot of stuff on the moon. And I have a 14-inch telescope, a Celestron 14-inch high-definition telescope that I was able to, it was very expensive, and my community helped me raise the money for it. So we were able to get ourselves a nice telescope. And I have a lot of cool moon videos that show just straight up the beauty of the moon. Also, some I magnify, zoom in to see the surface, and there's a lot of UFO activity. So if you're just new to the channel, thank you so much for taking the time to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for especially coming to the streams, and we have a hell of a good community here. Yeah, ever have any problems with someone in the community, let me know, because we're a good bunch here. In general, we're all one family. So you said it, Kimberly, anything is possible. That's right. We have different clothing and bigger screens and different mottos. That's all it's changing. Nothing else is different. Barb says the CDC said if you had a swine flu shot about a reaction 75 to 76. I got really sick from the shot and the flu itself. I recommended I not get it, some strain in the shot. Funny, I was born in 75, and you can be sure that the shots too when I was young that they gave me would be the reason why I'll probably die at 80 or 90 as compared to, I don't know. I'm going to be doing some competing here because I tend to think I'm going to be around for a hell of a long time. I feel it. To travel to the depths, says Mark Hall, of the sea, you need a sub. That's right. To travel into space, you need a rocket. I know where you're getting at. To travel through dimensions, you need a Mini Coupe. Well, it's funny you bring that up, like traveling through water, right? Do you know that they have to thermally water seal around the doors when they go up? They need the water seal, and they do tests to be sure of that. It makes me laugh. The mission of 5 crew that just arrived. If you didn't know, there was another launch yesterday that arrived at the ISS space station where they were waiting for the hatch. You saw that woman with a fake wig here, the hair standing up on her head, and they were waiting for the hatch to open up to bring in those 5 astronauts, and they had to wait to be sure that there was no leaks in the door. Anyways, I just can't help but wonder if it's not like an ocean, like a clear ocean, that in reality, the capsules and everything that we're seeing, imagine if it's a submarine that's in an ocean that's around Earth, that's actually traveling at 50,000 kilometers an hour, just literally a submarine. The astronauts came back And not everybody has family members, obviously, that work at NASA, but a lot of people do. And the person that I talked to, Linda, her uncle worked on the Apollo landings, 60s and 70s, and he made the oxygen tanks for the astronauts. And he was told, not true, he told Linda that when he came back, not true, he didn't go to space. When they came back, he was obviously, he had lost his wife at that time too, like most of the people that were working on the missions, because they had to be there 24/7, by the way. Didn't want people, obviously, if you're working on a mission, they're not going to let you leave there at night to go to the bar and talk to everyone about the oxygen machines you're working on. But he said the spacesuits of the astronauts, when they took their spacesuits off, were drenched. There was water inside. There was dirt inside of the spacesuits. Reminds me of someone putting on and off their spacesuits, right? Or like in the desert or outside or whatever. Lots of proof leading to really bringing us to leading us to believe that if they went, it's definitely not the way they said that they went, and that's for sure. Hey, Steve Y. Thanks, Steve. Nice to see you, brother. Andrew says, what if the flood, Kimberly LaBelle, thank you so much for becoming a member. I love you for it. Thank you. What if the flood referred to Elmer Fudd? What if the Elmer Fudd, if the flood referred to a scenario where the Earth's atmosphere collapsing, causing a global flood? What if the flood returned to a scenario where the Earth's atmosphere collapsing, calling another flood? Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. The flood from the past, it can be scientifically caused, I believe, and it could be because the moon was just arriving, or the pole shift was happening 2,000 years ago or something, right? And that's when the water started falling onto Earth. Look at the precipitation that was dumped on Florida, Fort Myers, Naples. I mean, it's 24 hours. Okay, 24 hours. The quantity of water that was dumped there. Could you imagine a horrible storm that lasts 40 days where water is continually dumping? After 1 week's time, everything would have been flooded, easily, right? And I think it's safe to say in the past, things were more excessive. Maybe when it was sunny, it was a lot hotter, or the opposite. Maybe when it rained a lot more back then than when it rained now. They say in the days, snowstorms and everything were worse. I have pictures. My mother showed me pictures of right here in Valleyfield in the Montérégie, where the snow is up to the wires of the electrical wires, which has never before been seen. I don't care how much wind is going to come here with snowfall. It would be near impossible to get that much snow. But back in the days, that was something more common. Christy, thank you. Peeking in with her eyes, spying on us. Nice to see you, Christy. Love you, sister. Can't thank you enough, Christy, for the amazing support here. All the new, I got to catch up in a new house now and everything. Probably working your butt off. I know you guys leading up to the winter are just like endlessly in the fields. Christy, did you have any problems with fertilizers, with products being missing? I'm sure maybe problems with the prices being spiked up for your farm that is just ridiculous. My son the other day, he was stuck taking a taxi to work, and he goes, Dad, $8 more for a taxi, and it's like almost $10 more for a taxi. Plus, you go buy steak now is like everything's up more. The meat's up more. The food's up more. It really shows, eh? And you know where it shows? It shows where somebody that's on a budget. Me, I'm on a budget. If I have 229 during a month, or if I have 100 during a month, the money goes all in the same areas. There's no cutting for certain things where and when the price spiked up, like with the gas, I'm not going to put $100 of gas a month in my car. And even that, some of you I know could probably even put in that in a week, because I've traveled before. I know a lot of you traveling to work, you are paying hundreds of dollars a week for gas. But now, even more so since everything spiked up, and they're talking about gas prices going up again. Thank you so much, Christy. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Jules T. They're de-evolving us for the New World Order agenda. Absolutely. And that agenda was supposed to be for the Agenda 230, but they started it right away for whatever the reason, maybe because people were too awake. So we really are living in the movie 1984. A lot of people told me that's not. No, we're not. Like, I don't know why people say that it's going to be like 1984. It's not that bad. It is, because we're not able. Weren't you astonished not being able to come on your Facebook or your YouTube channel when you had a family member that died because of COVID, that you couldn't share that? Oh, I would have taken down the internet. I would have taken down the internet. I would have not accepted that at all. We have people themselves that had side effects from the crap, that were not able to freely talk themselves to their friends of what's going on. It's ridiculous. But that was, thanks again, Christy. But that was something someone was pushing. It's not something that's going to last, that's for sure. If you haven't seen the last video I put up, it's a chemtrail video, and the sun yesterday, and I have the moon that I filmed yesterday or day before yesterday. I'm going to be getting that up too. Between the streams, I'm going to be working on that video, and I'm also going to be answering the comments. I don't know if you've noticed, if you just got to this channel, I answer all comments on videos and even go through the comments on the posts quite often. Someone who comments a lot here, there's not that many comments that'll be missing. You're going to see I'll answer a lot of your comments. I'm always trying to answer them all, which is impossible, but I try. But since I only get about 100 or 200 comments per video, I will always answer them. I'm looking for 500 to 1,000 comments. As a matter of fact, if you leave me 20 comments, I will answer each and every one of them. So the channels, the space channels that people love, often don't get a chance to interact with the creators, and they don't get a response or reply back. I mean, I'm here during the live streams. I'm here during, Christmas is coming up, unfortunately. So we're going to have a lot of you come on screen with me and talk. Maybe once in a while we can get 2 or 3 people of you to come on screen to give your own opinions. Maybe you want to show yourselves or talk about your own channels also. So, always focusing on Bruce's research, but I want to share, because you guys are talking to me so much about a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of the theories that I have here myself comes a lot from Erkata Viorica. Thank you, from Romania. Awesome. Thank you so much. Ancient Romania. Scary place. I wish I was there. I would not be surprised about that at all. I am positive that they're going to back that sucker up 2026, 27, 28. And of course, with Artemis 1 project, the first launch was never able to have been done, and the launch window is not till next mid-November. So if they miss it in November, when do you think the launch is going to be? It'll be after Christmas, and it'll go in January or February in 2023. So that means they'll be already 7 to 8 months to 1 year late for the Artemis programs. When we get there in 2025, they'll still be doing the Artemis 1, right? That's nothing. Capstone is not even at the moon yet. Now, you know what? Reading the news today about what they're doing in space with NASA would have made sense hearing that in 1969. Well, we're trying to get to the moon with Capstone, but it's still on its way. It's been about 130 days. We don't know if it's going to make it because it's only the size of a microwave. Instead, 1969, we have the connection, Mr. President, online. Hello, Neil. I hear you very well here from the Oval Office. Congratulations for having landed on the moon. Hey, thank you very much, Mr. President. Talking on the phone. It was totally hilarious. And then 50 years after that, we got our first cell phones in the cars. Everything's like friggin' this size. Well, I mean, not 50, maybe 20 years after that. I remember seeing the first car phone in a limousine. Oh, I was impressed. Big ass black car phone. Remember the big, I don't know what telecom, what the name was, with the big ass antenna there. It looked like you were talking on a big AM CB, you know. Technology, my butt, eh? Good vibes. Thank you very much. Yeah, give it a hell of a kick, but I think that's what happened because Earth is turning faster now. Earth is rotating faster, and guess what? It's supposed to continue into 2022. So, as I was watching the moon yesterday, and I was filming the moon, yeah, the moon is really moving fast across the sky. I got some nice shots of Sinus Iridum along the Terminator line, so we'll get some views of that. And at the same time, those of you just arriving to this channel, the moon shows us different colors and changes. I dare not say that it's seasonal changes, but every season the colors really do change on the moon, even though they say we can't see color in space. Oh yes, we can. We see the beautiful bright stars, we see Mars sparkling, and I don't think it's all just our atmosphere and refraction around us. We're seeing all the colors. Hey, I want to thank everyone for stopping by. We had a hell of a good stream. We talked about a lot of cool stuff. I believe the sun and moon are under the domed firmament. I think you're right. I like that theory also, right here with us. Nez Lover, thank you so much, sister, for sharing that. I think there's a possibility in that all of us are inside the firmament. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if part of the solar system and galaxy is inside of this like firmament. At one point, and this really happened, there was a military experiment the United States government did to try to access an area in the ocean that was like a bubble over it. They couldn't access the area. They could see in the air objects like fish flying around and snake-like objects, but they would bounce off like a dome every time they would try to go into that part of the ocean. And it's not in the ocean, it was actually over top of the ocean. So alien force field or something like that, you can be sure that's all things that possibly exist. Thanks again, Kimberly, and everyone for being members and for the awesome support here, you guys. I see your faces a lot, everyone, you know, Star Hunter, Annie Gaddis. I love seeing the people coming by. 95 watching and only 64 likes. Hit that like button, please, guys. It's free to hit the like button, and the more that are watching, the more that like the videos, well, it really helps in the algorithm. I appreciate that so much. And the more you hit the like button, the less I'll be asking you to. It is a Star Hunter, and it's a rare occasion here on Brucey's All to see new people. But the past month and a half, almost 2 months, I've been getting some new subscribers, and I want you all to know that it's a must. If you want me to stay here, remaining to do this full time, it's not a threat, but it's an offer. Asking for help. If you subscribe to the channel, it really does help for the algorithm and to get the channel pushed out to more people. Adam Bailey, thank you very much, bro. Thanks, man. Nice to see you, man. And again, for those that I'm missing, I'm really sorry about it. I think DARPA weaponized, says Andrew, 5G satellites and cell towers, as well as 5G Wi-Fi modems in your homes. I'm 100% behind you, man. You're like, in my brain, there's a part of my brain that always says and thinks of the same things that you say. You bring a lot of stuff here. I mean, I've heard stuff that I haven't even thought of, but in general, we're on the same wavelength, man, for certain things, because I believe that to a T. Okay. DARPA did weaponize the 5G satellites. I believe it. Absolutely believe that. I even believe, to go as far as some testing that they did in some of the jibber jabbers with nanoparticulates and the oxygen blood levels and stuff, very concerning. They could have done many things. As a matter of fact, maybe that's why we're seeing some people freak out when they started the 5G. Scary stuff. There's not a lot of experimentation, testing that was done with the 5G, especially based on our oxygen blood levels. David Icke was screaming that way back. And in England, remember in England, they started burning down the 5G towers. If I'm not mistaken, 5 to 7 towers were burned down in the UK. People were against it. They started burning them down. David Icke, they stopped them from being able to present anything live in public, and he was banned, if I'm not mistaken, from the UK, right, or somewhere, some place like that. And they don't want us to change the opinions of people. They want people to wake up, and it's a hell of a good thing that some of us are. Howdy, Ben Han. Thank you, man. Thanks, Ben. Nice to see you, brother. Before I get off here, Oliver Klein in the house. James is here. James Hampton, thank you very much. Oh, real quick, Grip Ripper. Bruce, have you by chance looked at Beetlejuice lately? Yes, I have, my friend. They say something weird is going on with it. Again? Well, listen, in 2019, Beetlejuice blew its top. The whole chromosphere, that's the surface. Like, if we're talking about the sun, the surface is the chromosphere. So imagine all that top blowing off, and it was like the fire was out. It was a dark surface where the whole top had exploded. It just blew itself right off. I noticed one thing I did notice, James Hampton, is the dimming of the light once again, because at one point they said it was something crossing. They didn't know why, the light was dimming. Then they said, well, it was something that's in front of Beetlejuice. That was the excuse. This something in front of Beetlejuice that blocked out the light. And then after that, well, oh no, it turns out in 2019 that Beetlejuice actually blew up. And I'm going to be watching it. Jupiter and Saturn. You'll see Jupiter, bright Jupiter with Saturn on the right of it. It's going to be hanging around for a couple of weeks with us, and it's going to be in the southern west side of the sky, between south and west, which we're going to see them around that area, traveling left and right in that area. For those that are wanting to get Jupiter and its moons, Jupiter, one of the brightest stars in the sky, even though it used to be the North Star and Venus. And then, ever notice there was like, now when you look outside, myself, I look up in the sky and I get confused. I go, there's actually 6 stars as bright as Jupiter almost in the sky. And you look around in the north and you look around everywhere and you see they're so bloody bright, the stars. Stars are so bloody bright. If you like looking outside the evenings and spending your evenings looking at the stars, look up in the Milky Way. You'll see flashes. You'll see the UFOs appearing here. Before I get off, you know where the Orion constellation is. Winter, best time to view it. So now Orion constellation, we have the Orionid meteor showers, which are showers which are going to be seen during the month of October and November. The peak is going to be on October 20th, which the Orionids are going to peak. You could see up to 22 meteor falling stars, if you want, per hour. And at the same time, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, the meteor the meteor showers, when the falling stars go by, they remain in the atmosphere. So you'll see it not go out as fast as a falling star, but you'll see it linger and fizz out, like one that I've caught before, a giant object that went by, and you could see the line took a while for it to fizz out, because obviously there's so much dust behind them. Don't forget, Mercury tomorrow at dawn is going to be higher in the sky than usual over the horizon. So point to the constellation Leo over the horizon, but this high off the horizon, you're going to see it. Small planet is very hard to see, but it's not like you're going to see the surface or anything, but we can still get a chance to see it. Colin said in an interview after they went to the moon on Apollo 11, he didn't remember seeing any stars. Yeah, that's another thing. And a lot of people tell me, Bruce, how come they didn't see any stars? Well, maybe I misunderstood the question. I told them, I had answered them at that point. I said, well, you're not going to see any stars in your images, but if he literally didn't see any stars, it's a little concerning. Maybe it's because the moon's surface is too bright. Look at it the way you want in the evening. When the sun's going down, it takes a little bit of time for the stars to come out. And sort of the same way we see it disappearing in the morning around 4:50, 4:55, we start seeing the last few stars, the brightest ones that are just about to disappear. Lisa says you can turn off 5G on your phone. Yes, in the setting menu. Absolutely. A lot of people are doing so also. Thanks for asking, Grip River, about Beetlejuice. Ladies and gents, I really want to... Hey, Caleb, Benjamin, thanks so much for being here. want to thank everyone for the amazing support that you guys give the channel, the live streams. VC in the house, good morning to you. Sorry if I missed some of you guys, or if it took me so long to get to you all. I can't say it enough that I really appreciate all the amazing support that you guys are giving. Oh, there's the crickets. I wasn't gone for long. Bruce had the chem cough and chem in his eyes. It could be. I'm the chem man. You imagine, Lisa, people that have problems, emphysema, I have bronchitis. So it can affect even more, people that have problems with their lungs, the elderly people. But I hope you need tea with lemon brews. Akata, thank you very much. You'd be surprised, you guys, by some of the healthy things that I have here, like green tea. And yes, it's in the cupboard. I'm not drinking it, but I still have green tea. I love green tea. I love healthy things. Phlegm, chem, cough. Yeah. And it's dry, eh? Like, that's one thing. I've never been somebody that has phlegm, and I'm never somebody that hawk up these big, disgusting, things. I'm always a dry cough. It's just like trying to make it pass. Then when I cough and a bit comes up, I go, oh, okay, I feel better now. Yeah, coughing up the weak skunk. Sorry, I missed the start of the chat. Was out walking the dog. There's no problem. The Source Networker, thanks so much for coming in. Ireland, right? If I'm not mistaken. Ireland, my friend in Ireland. But yeah, that's what we do here. 6 p.m. 1 p.m. is 6 p.m. Ireland time. I even know Ireland time now. I'm getting good. Thanks for stopping in, my friend. Elaine, nice to see you. I like to believe that the good extraterrestrial are destroying all launches and some satellites. I hope so. Wow, Elaine, same thoughts. Same thoughts. Those are the questions that I'm asking. Like somebody asked at the beginning of the stream, who's up there and what's going to happen with the people there once we land? Good question. And the other one is that you're hoping that good extraterrestrials are destroying all the launches and some satellites. I agree with you 100% about that. And I absolutely believe that they can decommission satellites without blowing them up. They're just like frequency, right? That's what we're in now, frequency wars. So if I think the government irresponsibly tested frequencies, killed off batches of animals, guys. We started seeing it just a couple of years ago. Hundreds and thousands of fish, of wildlife, dolphins, whales, not hundreds of thousands of them, but hundreds of thousands of fish. Remember that school of fish, millions of fish, all dead? They showed it overhead from space. You could see that line of all the dead fish and stuff. That's like an instant genocide of all the animals. So we hear them sending up 2 satellites to track the animals. Why do you think they're going to track the animals? To maybe see what the 5G is going to do? We got bears coming out of the woods. We got kangaroos coming out of the woods, and wild goat and sheep that hang out on mountains that are now in towns because everyone's coming out of the woods. There's something wrong with the frequencies of what they're doing. Animals have a perception, incredible perception, far better than us, basic instinct. Imagine how sensitive their perceptions are. Imagine, for example, what a 5G will do to a bat trying to fly, and maybe they're reading all these frequencies. You can't. Anyways, it's just a theory, but you can't help but wonder and think about it. That's awesome. Yeah, they're tracking me, the buggers. I think that's basically what's happening. Hey, Gate Smasher, thanks for being here, brother. Made to the stream. Great day here today. Hey, awesome, man. Hope you guys have some nice weather. Hope everything's getting back to normal. Hey, thank you very much, David. Hello, fellow Schwartzians. I like that one. Don't fancy licking a frog's back just to go on a trip. Yeah, well, that's it. That's what they do. That's interesting, Michelle J. Thank you so much for sharing that. Pyramids, guys. Do you know that there's never been any bodies found in those pyramids? Did you know that? Like, there's no tomb or sarcophage that actually has anyone in it. You know, a lot of pyramids, Giza, the people say it has nothing to do with any burial site. It has to do with something else. It's a tool. It's a mechanism. It has to do with the alignment of the Orion stars, the stars in the constellation of Orion. I got a lot of people of you also telling me that here. Darla, that's pretty good. Had an amazing stream with you all. For those, if you're in Ireland, it'll be, the next stream will be at 11 o'clock. Is that it? No, that's not true. I'll just say 8 o'clock Eastern time. This stream, 1 o'clock is 6 p.m. in Ireland. So 8 hours after will be the next stream. 8 o'clock Eastern time, Montreal time tonight. We'll be talking about a whole bunch of things, maybe even my research, and I'm going to try to get to all the questions, and feel free to join in the conversation. You're all welcome here, whether you're subbed or not. Please do take the time to subscribe, because it is going to help me. And I want to thank all of you this month that did an incredible effort in taking the time to subscribe to the channel. And I just know it's because some of you have shared out my channels to other people. Maybe you mentioned it to one person. That one person can share it on a website where 50 other people are going to see it. So it really is all because of you, all the quantity of people that we have here. William Muller, thank you very much from Spain. Muchas gracias. Bienvenido a mi canal de investigación. Thanks, guys. Spain in the house. Another beautiful language that I've been studying. William, I even have a small Spanish channel here on channels, on my Bruce C's. Click on channels, and you go to Astronomy of Nice. Astronomy of Nice, mi canal de investigación, studying about the research that I do here and transferring it over in some Spanish videos. And for those that speak French or have French friends, I also have a French channel that we've been stuck at 16,000 subscribers, but it doesn't matter. I'm still keeping it up. Thank you everyone for being here. Julie, Floyd, if I missed you, Julie, if I missed some of you, I didn't get a chance to say hello to some of you, I'm sorry for that. And ladies and gents, thank you for the amazing support. I mean, I'm really honored that you all come to my channel each and every day. I thank you for permitting me to, in a little way, maintain, buy a thread here on YouTube, and I appreciate that. Doing this full time. So I'll talk to you all at 8 o'clock. That's in 5 hours. So 8 o'clock Eastern time, we'll be doing one more live stream tonight. Have a moon video coming up tonight, and I'll be answering all your comments during the day. Thanks again, everybody. Talk to you all soon. Thanks, mods. Thanks to new subscribers, new members, and I'm gone now. Bye. Thanks, everyone.